Good morning, everyone. It is April the 25th. We enter the last week of trading in April. And as always, as usual, money managers are more interested in a sideways to higher close at the end of the month than they are in a lower close. Now, it is the first month of the quarter, so the first month is less certain than the last month off of that dynamic, but we will see how that plays out today. Today is the start of an auction week. We have the 2, 5, and 7 year and the 2 and 3 year auctions are the best received, and we have resistance at 24, 28 initially starting out, actually 29. Today's news: new home sales 521. It usually doesn't shake the markets, but it will probably have larger than normal impact because it's the only news today. Dallas Fed at -9. So the market usually on a 2-year auction starts off in a trading range, a little bit back and forth, and then it usually rallies into the auction itself. So I think the key resistance right now is this 24 to 28. Don't really like the short side that much, but the first sell zone is going to be 23 to 27. Second sell zone is going to be 31 to 03. On the buy side, pretty aggressive, 13 to 17. Would like to get it done closer to 13 than 17, but on the 2 and 3 year auctions, we usually have to pay up to get in. So I'm looking for a good 2-year auction, and that's why I like the long side of the market better than the short side. Pretty damn simple. This weekend we were supposed to get big storms and tornado warnings and all sorts of good things, and of course got the news people and the weather people all excited here in Wichita, and it went well north of us. There was a tail that started probably about 40 or 50 miles north and east of us, but the most of the state was high and dry again, and we do need the moisture. We're behind. We are getting enough moisture that the wheat crop's in reasonably good shape, but it would be nice if we had more moisture for the grasslands, etc. They take more water than wheat. Wheat, you can have a wheat crop with 5 well-timed and spaced rains, but it's one of the few crops that can do that. Okay, on the 30-year, 22 to right here, 22 to 26, we're going to put a 1 by it. Make 31.03 sell 1, and 7 to 11 sell 2. And again, we should get some back and forth just because of the auction dynamics. On the buy side, this it could be as high as 12 to 16. We'll make 13 to 16 1, and 5 to 9 buy 1, and then 29 to 01 buy 2. My guess is probably going to take about as good as we could hope for would be 13s to get into the 30-year. But trying to get a little more meaningful, closer to the edges of the markets, we've really are offering 3 S1, 2, and 3 when you get right down to it. And I may go back. I may start putting it out as such to avoid confusion. Do like the long side better. Okay, gold, when I looked a couple hours ago, was steady, unchanged. Kind of trading around. Friday's closed and didn't see a lot of action there. So we have this spill, the selling, this break and the selling accelerated here in this 1241 area. We're at 34 right now. You can see that we've rejected prices over 37. So, and the distributions, when you go into the congestion area, is pretty square, maybe slightly P in the congestion area. So maybe we'll do a little bit better. So 38s to 40s, sell 1. 44, 46, sell 2. On the buy side, 30 to 32. Just leaning against support. Then 25 to 27. 25, 27 is pretty good support. This 30 area, it has been holding plus or minus. So we're really kind of buyers, 25 to 30, and sellers, 38 to 45. Okay, the euro and the yen were up. I doubt if it has a lot to do with anything. It could come from the presidential trip to Europe and some of the things that he said over there. That you know, it's just, to me, there's so many problems facing the world, and he's talking about prints in bathrooms and telling London, you know, and England how to do their business, and telling them they better not drop out of the EU. Even Hillary came out over the weekend telling them not to drop out of the EU. And I mean, that's almost meddling, and maybe that should be done behind closed doors as opposed to in the press. But there are a lot bigger problems facing the world than the death of Prince, unfortunately, and this bathroom flap up in the United States right now. But I think a lot of it's just done on purpose, just to keep you off balance and your eye off the ball. Okay, it's a P. Volume is moving higher. We're at the high end right now. We're at 1275, so 113 even, sell 1. Sell 2. 25. On the buy side, we've got basically 1250. We'll get started there. Right now it looks like the market wants to trade up, and then 1225 for buy 2. Yeah, the drug deaths, I mean, they're just either by lead or overdoses, right, Nancy? Okay, looking at crude. Crude held where it was supposed to in the 43 area, give or take. Went down a little bit below it, but you can see where the low volume number is. At 68, we had this breakout right here from 83, so they went below 90. So we rejected prices below 42.90, as we have rejected prices above 43.50. So 50 to 75 is sell 1, is where resistance is. Think we might go a little higher. 44, 44 and a quarter is sell 2. On the buy side, 43 even, 43.75 buy 1. And then 42 even, 42 and a quarter buy 2. Fundamentals say we should be much lower, but we're not. And it's one of the stories floating around out there is the central banks have discovered that it's easier to manipulate the price of crude than it is to buy stocks every time they're forced to support the markets. And And so there is a story floating around out there that a lot of the support for crude oil is coming from the world's central banks. Don't know if that's true or not. Every story to have some legs or some credence has to have a little bit of truth in it. Okay, this is where we are right now. 2100. So 2095, 2100 is pretty good resistance, and 75 to 80 is where support is right now. And you can see that the breakout basically in the 75 to 80 area is holding, and the market's in a very strong uptrend now. We all know that the books are cooked. We all know that every central bank in the world wants stock markets higher because good times are just around the corner, if that is the case, right? And so here we sit. So there's a seller at 2100, and there is a buyer at 75, and if we put it all together, we're still looking at a very strong P that is stopping at resistance. So it's my personal feeling, and I don't see anything today that says it's going to happen, that we're going to see new contract highs before this is over. Now, I did an Asian split. I did a London split with M, and we'll split for the financials right here, so you can see that initial resistance is 85 to 90, and then it's going to be up in the 95 to 2100. So first sell band is 85 to 90. Wide, we have a lot to pick up. We like to get it done closer to 89 and pick up this tail right there. And then 95 to the buck. Don't really see a lot of rejection down below, but 75 is holding, so 74, 76 by 1. Put a question mark at 80. And then 71 to 66 for buy 2. Monday mornings usually start out slow. The bias on Monday mornings is to the upside. And we'll see if that actually happens today. We do live in interesting times, don't we? It'll take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy with that. I will be back with you as soon as possible.